Transform your Christian school culture through the Flourishing Journey podcast. Your host is Dr. Edward Bunn, ACSI Professional Development Director.
Welcome to the Flourishing Journey podcast. I'm Dr. Edward Bunn, and I will serve as your travel guide throughout this podcast series. We'll explore strategies and principles for building a school culture that truly thrives. Each month, we'll take a brief pit stop centering around a relevant, flourishing construct as together we journey into the world of ideas, research, and practice.
Hello, flourishing practitioners. Welcome to this special episode of the Flourishing Journey podcast. You're probably used to Dr. Edward Bunn hosting these podcasts. Well, today we are flipping the script, and Dr. Bunn gets to be interviewed by me. My name is Rachael Jones, ACSI Assistant Director of Professional Development, and I work closely with Dr. Bunn, who serves as ACSI's Director of Professional Development. Dr. Edward Bunn joined the ACSI family in 2018. He was previously the head of school at Faith Christian School in North Carolina for 12 years. Dr. Bunn completed his master's degree in school administration and a doctorate in educational leadership at Southeastern Baptist Theological Seminary. I know leadership development and growth is a topic near and dear to his heart. Dr. Bunn, welcome to the Flourishing Podcast. But before we get started, do you mind if I just call you Edward from here on out?
Absolutely, that's fine. It's so good to be with you and our viewers today. Great to kind of flip the script and sit on this side of the interview. You know, I really enjoy all things leadership, so this should be really fun.
Wonderful. Well, I'm looking forward to this as well. So let's just kick it off with our first question.
Yeah.
Talk to me about why you believe leadership development is essential rather than optional.
Oh, wow, great question. Leadership development is essential because simply leadership doesn't just happen. It's shaped. Where it requires formation, even transformation. Every organization tends to rise or fall on the quality of its leaders. If we don't invest in growing our leaders, we're essentially leaving the future of our organizations to chance. I believe development provides leaders with tools. For example, tools to adapt, tools for wisdom to make better decisions, character to influence in healthy ways. The challenges of tomorrow often require us to build on yesterday's strengths, but also develop new capacities of leadership. And also I'd like to, say leadership development ensures there's always a pipeline of people, ready to step into responsibility with clarity, even with resilience and vision. Without it, we get stagnation, we get burnout, but with it, we get growth and health and overall sustainability.
I love what you said at the beginning about leadership development doesn't just happen, it's shaped. And I love that because I've heard many people say, I'm not a great leader. And so they think they can never become a good leader. But what you're saying is that can be developed. It has to be intentional, but that can be developed. So I love that. The
Yeah.
next question, what's one leadership skill that you think is most underdeveloped today?
Oh, wow. A leadership skill underdeveloped. I'd say listening, not just listening, but active listening. I think it's one of the most underdeveloped leadership skills. Too often I think, leaders equate leadership with speaking and directing or even inspiring others. But to me, the most impactful leaders are exceptional listeners. They make people feel seen and heard. I think that in turn builds trust, which is oftentimes the foundation of our influence as leaders. And listening is not just a passive experience. It's an active discipline of both curiosity and humility, along with empathy. In a world filled with all the noise and distraction that we see and encounter, leaders who truly listen, I believe, create clarity, connection that allows them to make wiser decisions and ultimately lead people more effectively.
That's great. Yeah, the active listening piece is really a soft skill, isn't it? And I was reading the other day just some studies that came out where they're finding that college graduates are lacking in some of these soft skills. So they're asking colleges, start making this part of your curriculum. And that was one of them was the active listening, knowing how to communicate. I think those are all very important. And so, yeah, good point in part
That's
of that
good.
leadership development.
Mm.
The next question is, can you share one practice or habit that has accelerated your own leadership growth?
Oh yeah, I like that one. Just very quickly, this what comes out is because I do this a lot is, one practice I think that's definitely accelerated my growth personally is building intentional reflection time into my week. Now, distraction and the noise that I mentioned in the last answer can get in the way of that, but I try to center in on a weekly reflection time. We all know leadership is fast paced. It's easy to keep running without ever stopping, pausing to ask, okay, what am I learning? What could I have done differently? Maybe where do I need to grow? And so I set aside time to evaluate, key interactions I've had, maybe not just those interactions, but decisions that I've made, the outcomes from those decisions. And that basic rhythm helps me turn experiences into, I think, lifelong lessons. I believe reflection, transforms activity into growth, personal growth and professional growth, but it also keeps me from repeating mistakes and allows me to lead with greater self-awareness and intentionality. But I'd also like to add to that, though, while reflection is deeply personal, I do have conversations with others to also help me reflect. For example, just this morning I had coffee with a 20-year-old young man who loves all things theology, all things leadership and business. And I basically bounce ideas with this young man. Lessons I've learned, I want to get his take on it. Reflective thought I do with him just to gain a different perspective. I'm 54, he's 20. He has this strong passion for life, and like I said, theology and leadership and business, and just to gain his perspective from the things I'm reflecting on personally has been a great benefit, and I benefited from that this morning over a cup of coffee.
Wow, that's great. And I think just the whole idea of stopping to reflect, it's something that we can start thinking of as not being optional or something you fit in when you have time. It sounds like you have to be intentional to fit it in. So it's something, it's a good challenge for me because I think a lot of times, probably many of us can relate. You're just working through all of your tasks and then you're left with no time to really think and reflect and to do any kind of creative development. So yeah, really great tip there. Well, as we finish this, I have just one last question with you, or to ask you. With leadership development in mind, unpack for me the ACSI's newly redesigned Leadership U program that you and I have been very busy just really talking through some of those components. How do you see this program as an opportunity for school leaders to grow?
Oh, wow. So I could talk all day long about Leadership University, but I'm going to try to be brief here. You and I have we've been on the inside of Leadership University and redesigning and rethinking for this next cohort of scholars. And, ACSI's Leadership U program is to me, is such a valuable resource for school leaders or aspiring school leaders to kind of center in or target their own leadership development, which we know in turn enhances the schools and the communities in which they serve. It's a formal 1 year program where every scholar or participant walks alongside an experienced mentor, which is the number one rated component of Leadership U is walking with a mentor for a year. The program includes, let's see, in person sessions, virtual sessions, fully developed curriculum with practical application, school visits, a capstone project, the Flourishing Schools Institute, and a whole lot more. But as you said, we're in the final stages of redesigning Leadership U for the next cohort, which includes a new vignette virtual series, a spiritual and well-being retreat, expansion of our leadership development resources, a brand new leadership track that we're excited about. We have our traditional head of school track for current, new or newer heads of schools. And then this new track is for leading from any role, not just specific to the head of school lane, but is also for fellows, that fellows feel, if you will, for school leaders who've maybe been in their position for a while and desire a formal yet relational growth opportunity. And here we're going to dive deeply into kind of what we've been talking about today, the soft skills of leadership, like change management, self-awareness, conflict resolution, and much more. Um, you asked me kind of why Leadership U, how does the program serve as an opportunity? I believe is what you said for school leaders. Um, there's a quote that I have on a little note card over here. It's a reminder for me as we're working on the redesign. It keeps me motivated. It's from a school leader, a recent graduate actually of Leadership U. It says, this has been a fantastic and truly helpful experience for me and for our school. I was paired with the right mentor for our situation, being a really new school. Such a great experience. Thanks to you and ACSI for helping our school get established and find a network of other like-minded school leaders. You know why I have things like this around my desk? I have thank you cards around my desk here. I have quotes on my computer. I have it because when we're working, I need to be reminded of the great fruit from the work and from what we're able to accomplish, specifically in this regard to Leadership University and how it's being so impactful to school leaders around the world. And so, again, I could talk about Leadership U all day long, but I'll stop there. And it's been a joy, talking with you today.
Well, it's such a great way to end this time together is just hearing those testimonials. Because, like you said, sometimes we lose sight of why we're doing what we're doing. So when you actually hear the impact that it's making on people's lives, that's great. Well, obviously, leadership development is a passion of yours. And thank you for sharing today. I've gained so much just in this short talk, just really that. The concept of leadership development doesn't just happen. It has to, we have to be intentional. You talked about soft skill development, which is important and key, and then talked about the need to just stop, take a pause, and reflect on what is happening around you, what God's doing in your life, how you're developing as a leader. So again, thank you so much for being with us today.
Yeah, thanks you, Rachel, for interviewing today. It has been so great to be in this seat on this side of the interview. What a joy. Thanks for making it all happen.
Well, maybe we'll have to do this again sometime
Yeah,
soon.
absolutely.
Well, listeners, if you would like to learn more about Leadership University that Edward mentioned today, shown on the screen is a URL, or you can email leadership_university@acsi.org for more details. Join us next month for a new episode of the Flourishing Journey podcast.
The Flourishing Journey is a presentation of the Association of Christian Schools International. Foster a flourishing school culture by visiting acsi.org/flourishing.